Product creation. How to proof and polish your package. Now at this point, you are done with all the tweaking, compiling, and rewriting of the various pieces of your package. Now your next step is to proof and polish each piece. You can approach this task in a few different ways, including do it yourself, outsource it, or you can find a proofreader by searching Google or using a site like Upwork.com, or asking a competent friend to do it for you. Now, for the purposes of this lesson, we'll assume that you intend to do the proofing and polishing yourself. So check out the tips and questions to ask yourself in this guide. Set it aside. If you added a significant amount of new content to the PLR content, then set the whole thing aside for a few days. Doing so lets you look at the pieces with fresh eyes, which makes it easier for you to catch your errors. And once you start proofing, you can take these steps. Pay particular attention to the new pieces. So you probably already caught any typos when you were assembling the PLR pieces. But while you should still proof the PLR text to catch errors the vendor made, your focus will likely be on the new content you created. Use a tool. You can use your word processor's built-in spell check and grammar check, as well as a third-party tool like Grammarly.com. Read it out loud. This not only slows you down, which helps you catch errors, it makes it obvious when you need to smooth out a hard-to-read sentence. Next question. Is the content accurate? Now, to answer this, you will need to do some fact checking. If your content lists any sort of percentages, statistics, study results, numbers, or other facts, you'll want to double check that these facts are indeed correct. So be sure to use two reputable sources when fact checking. Is the content valuable? Now, as you read the content, ask yourself these questions. Does the content speak to the level of the audience? Is there any unnecessary content that should be cut? Is there any part of the content that needs more explanation or details? Would the content benefit from having more tips? Would the content be more valuable with more examples? Or would the content benefit from graphics, such as an infographic or illustration? In what other ways could I make this content more valuable to the reader? Next up, is the content engaging? Now, the next thing to look at is whether the content is well written and engages the reader. So ask yourself, does the content share any relevant rapport building stories? Is the content well written? Or is it written using a conversational or friendly tone? Does the content include any humor? But just use sparingly and be sure you understand your audience before you do so. And finally, is the content formatted for easy readability? Now, your content needs to be formatted in a way that it looks like it's easy to read. Otherwise, people won't read it. So ask yourself, have the paragraph lists been broken into bulleted lists? Is there plenty of white space? Do graphics break up the text? Does the content include short sentences and short paragraphs? Does the content include headlines, bolding, italics, and similar styling choices to make it easy to skim? Now it's your turn. Your task is now to prove and polish your content using the tips and questions I've included in this guide. If you are able to have someone else lay a fresh set of eyes on, then that's even better.